the airplane.
The airplane as
Always
well?
observed the telephone. In this
Wow,
modern-
it's absolutely incredible how much the US has invented that like changed the world, right? Hi and welcome back. So I know that Americans are very hardworking people, but are they also smart? That is what we are gonna find out today with the 10 best inventions. Spoiler alert, I think they are. But let's see what they have invented. But before we do that, please hit a like and a subscribe on the video if you like the content. And because this would help me so much to grow, to make more videos like this. Thank you so much.
In 1997, fully half the households in America which were connected to the internet were using AOL.
You've got mail.
Welcome to
What is
Watch
AOL?
Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the greatest inventions in American history. These tools change the way we interact with the world and represent huge technological leaps forward.
Information isn't bound up anymore. It's an entity. The only reality is virtual. If you're not jacked in, you're not alive.
Checked
Number
in.
10, email. Email
Oh,
revolutionized
wow.
the way human beings communicate around the world. The Advanced Research Projects
You made
Agency
our life so much easier with that.
Network, or
Again, you made our life so much easier with that.
ARPANET sent the first email in 1971. Programmer Ray Tomlinson pioneered the use of the @ symbol as well, creating a standard for email directionality.
It was just a hack. And the next step was to get other people to try using it.
Within 5 years, the majority of communications at ARPANET were via email. With the advent of attachments in 1992,
Wow,
emails
the email was before the internet.
became the easiest and fastest way to send information from point to point.
Click here, and it's done.
By the start of the 21st century, email became one of the primary tools for global communications. Email
Yeah,
allowed
now
people
it's
from all over
that
the planet
tool.
to communicate with the click of a mouse.
Hey, everybody, I'll just email you. I don't have an email.
Number 9, magnetic resonance imaging. It's impossible to measure the
MRI.
impact of the MRI machine on the world of medicine. Nuclear magnetic resonance has been around
Wait,
in one
is it
form or
MRT?
another since the end of World War II, but two doctors in the late 1960s and early 1970s saw the potential to revolutionize medicine forever. Doctors Paul Latterber and Raymond Damadian separately experimented with NMR in scanning for cancer cells. By 1974,
It's
the results of
MRT.
their experiments were published and a patent was filled. By
That is so
1977, the
genius.
first full-body scanner was invented. There is no way to calculate the number of lives saved by the MRI machine.
Yeah,
but it's
I have to
easily
go on
millions.
under one once I had a ACL incident. Yeah, thank you, USA.
Latterber's
Thank you so much.
contributions to MRI development won the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2023.
Damadian protested vigorously in 2003 when a pair of other doctors won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for their contributions to MRI technology.
Number 8, interchangeable parts. Standardized interchangeable parts for machines is not a new idea. Ancient Carthage used them for their warships thousands of years ago. The Qing dynasty used them for crossbows in ancient China. The military of the 18th century France attempted to follow their example to limited success. French experimentation with interchangeable musket parts inspired Thomas Jefferson in 1785. He pressed his fellow
Is he
Americans
the guy with the light bulb? Oh no, that was Edison, right? If everybody ends at Sen.
to follow suit. In 1798, President George Washington and his Congress came through. They awarded a contract to Eli Whitney to provide the government with 20,000 muskets.
Building 10,000 muskets as individuals would take an enormous amount of time. That's where he conceived the idea of interchangeable parts.
After his death, Whitney's arms company perfected the process. Interchangeable parts are now a staple of modern manufacturing. They allow
Yeah.
for quality control, cost control, and the speedy manufacture of goods.
While most people
I mean, it's basically the basic thing of the Industrial Revolution. Only if you have very small, very standardized parts, you can plug them into things, or you can like mass produce them, right? If they are very standardized.
remember him for the invention of cotton gin, it's really the concept of assembling interchangeable parts that truly changed the world.
Yeah.
Number 7, personal computers. The first
Wow.
general-purpose computer, ENIAC, was invented in 1946 at the University of Pennsylvania.
1946.
It took up 1,800 feet of floor space and weighed 30 tons. At the time, it would have been impossible to envision a consumer-grade computer small enough to be available in every home.
Yeah.
This convinced the colonels and generals present that electronic computers were important.
Within a single generation, though, that impossible dream became a reality. Thanks to the microprocessor, computers could be made smaller, cheaper, and more powerful than ENIAC's creators could ever imagine. John Blanken.
It's absolutely incredible, right? I heard that the Apollo, Apollo is the rocket that flew to the moon, that this is less powerful than the chip in our smartphone. That's absolutely incredible, right?
Baker invented Kenback 1, the first PC in 1971.
Okay.
More than 50 models of the Kenback 1 were ever built. 50 years later, personal computing has shaped the modern world.
With this tool for modern times, a person can quickly master such jobs as accounting or word processing.
Number 6.
Please hit like and subscribe. It would help me so much. Thank you.
GPS. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in 1957, American physicists realized they could track its radio transmissions thanks to the Doppler effect. The US military saw great value in this technology. By 1968, their transit system utilized a network of 36 satellites for global positioning. It was one of several systems in existence. In 1973, the Department of Defense launched a project to synthesize various tracking systems. By 1978, the military began to launch and test modern Navstar GPS satellites.
When it is available, the space shuttle.
Absolutely incredible how much the US has invented that changed the world, right?
Will be used to place Navstar satellites in orbit.
President Reagan approved commercial use of GPS in 1983. By the start of the 20th century...
That always reminds me of Ronald Reagan, the actor from Back to the Future.
GPS devices were incorporated both into civilian vehicles and phones. Today, it is an essential technology for navigation, business, and military operations.
What we are doing is calculating exactly where the center of this satellite is relative to where we are.
Number 5, the light bulb. Bringing light to the masses was one of the greatest technological leaps in human history. The mid-1800s saw great competition in this space, as inventors around the world raced to invent their electric light. The first filament bulb was created by British inventor Warren De La Rue in 1840. His use of platinum filament made it expensive and impractical. Joseph Swan in the UK and Thomas Edison in the US each independently invented bulbs using cheaper filaments.
Finally, in October
Interesting that you only know about Edison and not... how was the name of the other guy? Joseph Swan, okay.
Invented bulbs using cheaper filaments.
Finally, in October 1879, Edison had a breakthrough when he realized that a very thin carbon filament with high electrical resistance was needed to make a light bulb practical.
Edison received a patent on his bulb in early 1880, a little before Swan. The light bulb, an invention that could light up every home, revolutionized life around the world. It led to the development of the electrical grid and set the stage for our modern electricity-dependent society.
In fact, the bulb he created is very similar to the light bulbs we use today.
Number 4, the telephone.
Wow, I thought that was German. I don't know, I always thought that was German.
That the telephone was a big deal. Scottish transplant Alexander Graham Bell invented the electric telephone in 1876. The phone's predecessor, the telegraph, only transmitted brief written messages.
Watson, come here. I want to see you.
I heard you. I heard what you said.
The telephone, however, allowed people to speak with one another in real time over long distances. It was a game-changing technology that sped up the efficiency of business and could instantly connect people globally.
Bell's vision will revolutionize communication.
Emergencies could be reported to authorities as they occurred. The telephone effectively shrunk the world and sped it up. While Bell was Scottish-born and also lived in Canada as well as the US, he patented his invention in the US.
On July 9th, 1877, the Bell Telephone Company launches, with Hubbard as president and Bell as chief electrician and largest shareholder.
Number 3, the assembly line.
I think the assembly line is the most significant technological development of the 20th century.
Could this be from Ford? I heard something that Ford made something like this, and that therefore that was the reason why he grew so big. Was this Ford?
Of human history, manufactured goods were custom made. Every model of a machine, good, piece of clothing, or tool was in some way unique. Interchangeable parts standardized products, allowing for easier and cheaper manufacturing. In 1901, automobile manufacturer Ransom Olds took it a step further with the assembly line.
By
standardizing and automating many aspects of manufacturing, uniform goods can get created faster and at lower costs. Olds' vehicle, the Oldsmobile Curved Dash, was the first mass-produced car ever made. Olds' method was adopted and perfected by Henry Ford with his Model T in 1913. Today, the assembly line combines human labor and automation to create virtually every mass-produced product on Earth.
From its earliest forms to the state of the art, The assembly line has evolved
It
by
changed
constantly
our,
adjusting the relationship.
like the thing said, every of these inventions changed our world. This is absolutely incredible.
Between people and machines.
Number 2, the airplane.
The airplane
People
as
always
well?
observed birds and insects and dreamed of flight. The Greeks spoke of Icarus and Daedalus
Icarus,
and
yes.
their wax and feather wings. Leonardo da Vinci theorized and sketched a flying machine. But it wasn't until
Leonardo da Vinci was always also such a genius, right? Such a great painter and also such a great inventor. I don't know, this guy must have been so genius like.
1903 in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, that the airplane came to life. Wilbur and Orville Wright experimented with aeronautics for 4 years until
It must be so scary to sit into this plane, and I'm like, oh, I hope every of our calculations went wrong. Went right, not wrong.
Flight.
The Dayton, Ohio duo became the first people in history to successfully pilot an engine-powered airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Within a decade, their invention was
Looks
first
so
used
cool.
in warfare. Within 7 decades, their technology evolved.
That's crazy, right? Only 70 years later, we fly to the fucking moon. That's so crazy.
Took us to the moon.
No.
Today, the airplane is an indispensable technology. The plane lets us transport goods and people around the world quickly. We once fought wars over goods and trade. Today, the plane allows trade to flow freely all over the planet. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Hearing aids. This invention helps people with hearing loss communicate and reconnect with the world.
Hi, baby. Who's that, Poppy?
Hi!
Cardiac defibrillators. Thanks to this
Oh.
invention, hearts around the world can get a jump start when they need one.
Press
Yeah.
flashing shock button.
Clear.
Shock 1 delivered.
3D printing. The potential applications of this young
Oh
technology
my god,
are
literally every of the invention changed the world.
endless.
We get very nice cartilage tissue that have healing capacity, so we are very optimistic.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, the internet.
Of
The
course.
internet and the information age it sparked has created a
The internet. Otherwise, you couldn't hear me or see me, or I don't know. You wouldn't probably even know. No, not probably. You wouldn't even know that I exist. The internet, best and at the same time, like sometimes worst invention that we had. Like, right?
seismic shift that completely changed how we
Yeah.
live and communicate.
The most revolutionary
absolutely.
technologies of human history are notable for making the world smaller. The wheel, the sail, the internal combustion engine, the telephone,
Yeah.
and the airplane all revolutionized travel and communication.
Yes.
But the internet gives people access to the entirety of human existence with just a few keystrokes.
I mean,
in 1960,
I speak to you, right? And you just with one click see me, although we are on the not totally different, but we are far away from each other.
researchers at the Advanced Research Projects Agency created the first network
Our
between labs at
planet.
UCLA and Stanford.
The communication from UCLA to Stanford was meant to say login, but only the LO made it through.
Over time, their network expanded further and further, standardizing protocols and connecting anyone with a device. The internet has revolutionized the way human beings share information.
Yeah.
Both good and ill, communication and access to resources are better now than at any other time in history.
And it would not have been possible without the pioneering researchers and hackers who knew computer networks could do more than launch a counterstrike.
Do we miss a quintessential American invention? If a flash of inspiration hits you,
I mean, I think the internet is probably after the wheel and the fire, probably the third biggest invention that humankind ever had. I mean, let's be honest, and it is American, of course. I knew that America had some creative inventions, but I didn't know that were that great. You know, I know that Americans are always creative. Have American dream big. So you have people that are very motivated to get out those ideas to be rewarded for their, of course. But I honestly, I didn't know that. I thought like, yeah, okay, maybe, I don't know, 1-2 big inventions and more like, smaller stuff. But literally the MRT or MRI, as you, I think, call it, is I would say lowest one of all of this. And if you are at this baseline, that is literally crazy. And I think the second lowest is, I think, the light bulb. So we are literally like, yeah, top-notch, high-league stuff, right? I don't think there's any other country in the world that invented so much stuff. No, I don't think any. I mean, there are other great countries that invented much stuff here. Germany as well. I think Britain, I think, also invented much stuff. But I think, you know, just the internet makes it like top notch, and I think the most inventive country in the world. Which I think a not small part of it is, of course, the company freedom that you have in the US, that you're like, hey, I have my invention and then I have a company and then I get rich, right? That is a very good motivator to do some inventions. And also I think this mindset of, hey, yeah, just try it, do it. I think benefited or helped you a lot to get those great inventions going. And I mean, if I you know, everybody knows what I would say, which is the greatest invention, but it's also hard to tell, right? Because I mean, without a computer, you wouldn't have an internet, right? And without, I don't know who invented electricity. I mean, electricity is there, but who made electricity usable? That would probably be also like one of the greatest inventions. There would be no computer, you know? So, yeah, it's like weird to say which is the greatest invention, right? Because without a computer, no internet. But of course, computers without internet are like rubbish, right? So that is always, if your Wi-Fi is broken down, you see, I don't know what to do with my computer. So they are all like top-notch league, I would say. And thank you for US or thank you Americans, not US. The US is just the government, right? For making those inventions and helping all of us having a better, more comfortable. Sometimes, of course, internet is not always positive. Sometimes also worse, but in the most cases, I think a way better life. And yeah, thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you can, I think there are way more inventions to discover. So maybe, sorry, sorry, I'm a bit tired. So maybe you can recommend some more videos of them to me, or maybe you can tell me in the comments which is an invention that they didn't cover that we should definitely look on. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video as well. Keep liking and subscribing, and we see each other in the next video. Bye!